Hi Capricorn, I just finished your reading. It was actually very interesting because as I was working this out, I was like just amazed with what kind of like vigilance and power you're going to bring into this period. So it's going to be time of forgiving, but forgiving in order for you to reach your life, because you deserve life. And guess what? There is a soulmate that is coming through. So shall we start? Hello Capricorn, and welcome to your Gemini transit reading. So just to let you know, this is general reading, and so hence it's generic. So also, if this doesn't resonate 100%, it's always so good to get tidbits from your ascendant and from your moon sign. And in addition to that, if you are basically viewing cross-watching for somebody else, check their Mars sign as well. So the cards were jumping out, and you did get fairies. And I have to say that this is a card where I personally cannot connect with in this particular deck, or basically anywhere, right? The fairies is like nature spirits, right? And they're kind of described in early tribes. And they're associated with the goddess Dana, who once ruled Ireland, right? And fairies are basically the ones that kind of like tend to our gardens, right? And they're kind of like very, very small. And because they're kind of like part of that earth magic, right? And they take care of things, I have a problem with that concept. Okay, so but anyway, so the only thing that I can tell you about this is like, and because you're Capricorn, I was like really thinking as I was shuffling the rest, if I should keep it or should not keep it, if I should just like pass over it. And I said, look, if you got this card and you're Capricorn, there was a reason. Earth, you need kind of like possibly some kind of like contact. You need to redo your own element, because this is telling me that has been some kind of pain for the some of you. Maybe backstabbing, maybe you haven't even seen what was coming to you and it just like came as a shock. And it almost like feels like that you have been very stoic. You kind of like just went through suffering on your own, right? So I would say that probably plants would be a part of your healing, and also ground, like touching ground, because you also have the stones. I think this is taking it further, giving me a really clear message that probably you need to kind of like go outside, because you're getting this vigilance, right? And so this is basically talking about this stone people, and basically these would be those big rocks that sort of like, if you really think about it, the water smooths everything. But look at them. They're like standing there, proud, right? Keeping their form, right? And they almost like look like somebody who is like really observing the passage of time. So this is definitely resisting different weather conditions, being vigilant. And it's not meaning out of fear, but rather opening up your mind and senses information that is presented to you, and it could be through your eyes, ears, physical sensations, right? But also kind of like be, and I would say here is like where it links, kind of like pay attention to your gut feelings and pay attention to different opportunities that will be presenting themselves to you. And I think maybe this is kind of like coming out here for you, because it's probably telling that maybe some of you wanted to give up. Maybe some of you kind of like said, oh, I'm tired and I'm fed up of everything and things are not going to happen for me. But the messages are saying, keep going, Capricorn. Message is saying clearly, look, what has been Ben, que sera, sera. But you guys are getting really love message over here. You deserve love. Same here. So, let's start and let's see where this kind of guide us. It's going to be really interesting. So, flirt, there you go. You guys, you know, maybe got stuck in the rut, and maybe by putting just like your hands in your garden or buying yourself a plant and attending to this plant, it's going to show you that everything grows and everything is going through the phases. So maybe it's going to be, because you're an earth sign, easy to kind of like get that connection, right? So flirting very soon. Let go of control issues, and that was that leftover that left you, I would not say jaded, but in a situation when you're like, ugh, I don't want to get up and I don't want to do that again. Yeah, some kind of attraction from the past. Forgiving and learning. Religious factors. Romantic feelings. Let's put this here. Playfulness. Finances and career. And soulmate. The bottom of the deck you have honeymoon. So honeymoon is talking about overly looking at things through the rose-colored glasses, right? We all like this big romance, and all basically movies, everything is like selling us on this kind of like big thing. But the truth is, like, that initial stage, that honeymoon stage, kind of fades off, and it is like make it or break it to a real love, because that is just different. It goes through different phases, like, right, the seedling, it starts like nice and fresh and grows really fast, but then it starts to bear fruit when it's not as cutie as it's kind of like small thing, right? So there is like that differentiation over here. But you know, maybe being stuck into this is what I want, this is where I want to go, it's kind of contrary to maybe your nature, because you're earth sign. You actually do understand the value of, you know, working hard for a relationship, and everything kind of like needs standing. So let's see what we have. Wow. 7 of Swords. And the Empress. And the Justice. This is one of my karma cards. 10 of Wands. Knave of Swords. 7 of Wands. The Temperance. The Lovers. Wow. 3 of Wands. And the Hermit. Another Earth fellow. On the bottom of the deck you have the Star. And probably that one and the Sun are two loveliest cards in this entire deck. Because you're going to wake up from something, from a nightmare almost. Like, it looks like you're going to wake up and smell the roses and kind of like get a newfound enthusiasm about, you know, life, about everything. Something has happened in the past. This could have been related to this loss. It could have even been divorce. It could have been that somebody stray away from the marriage over here. And oh my gosh, look at that. Somebody really wanted to be on their own and enjoy themselves, and maybe that was on account of somebody else, and which caused lots of kind of like nightmares, turmoil, and kind of like wonder about what to do in a situation. It was a need for balancing situations. Something was really out of balance, or maybe, you know, somebody went along the path of something that is unacceptable, that kind of like needed to put back in order. So maybe attraction went out of hand. Maybe it was like too much of attraction. Maybe it was attracting to somebody who is not available, which kind of like I see it here. Or you maybe kind of like step out of your own comfort, of your own relationship, and kind of like proceeded with something where you kind of like still didn't kind of like put the ends to something. We are going to see what is this all about. So let me see what is here about in the root of this reading for this transition. So allow the situation to unfold naturally. Control. You guys are really not a very controlling sign because you're not a fixed sign, but I think something for you was just getting really hard to process, hard to kind of like continue with, This is not the best way to carry these ones. And you know that kitty is just going to say, okay, forget about it, or you know, it's going to break the kitty's back. It's kind of like something, a burden that you have been saddled with, or somebody saddled you with, is something that is no longer sustainable. And hence, maybe instead of trying to keep all these like balls up in the air, it is like time to figure out what is doable, or what is doable right now, right? To kind of like get to the point. Yeah, you're thinking about someone or something from the past. Six of Cups. Six of Cups reversed. It's talking about nostalgia. And almost like feeling that the best is behind you. You're really probably missing someone. And maybe this is what is going on. You're maybe not letting go of some kind of like feeling or some event that kind of like stuck with you. And this actually can go all the way back to kind of like high school, because it generally kind of has that flavor when you feel like a teenager, like I'm in fluttering hard and that kind of things. Something has been cut off, and this is also kind of like really harsh. Maybe conclusion to something. Maybe you lied to somebody. Maybe somebody lied to you. Maybe it was something that was not able to sustain. I really don't like what Knight of Swords reverses, because it's always talking about a person who's overly harsh. Something happened that kind of like really, on the very least, left a bad taste in the mouth. And on the bad side, it kind of really created huge turbulence in your life, which could have been predecessor to this, right? That kind of like it was the arguments, which maybe you thought it will be smoothed out, but they haven't been. Now, what is in the heart of the reading? You have flirt, but you have very soon, and the Empress reversed. Now, the flirt. And this is kind of interesting, because Seven of Swords is the card that talks about betrayal. Taking something that maybe it's not yours. And that's what I said. It could have been somebody stepped out, and even though I do not see the three-party here, I mean, slightly I could maybe see that, I still see that there is like a flavor of some kind of betrayal. So something that was agreed that it's not the right conduct has happened over here. So maybe somebody flirted with someone and it was like dumped right on the street. That's maybe what happened. Somebody could be married. This actually even can talk about the marriage being in jeopardy. Somebody kind of like really found their suitcase on the lawn, coming back home after maybe just realizing, complete realization, okay, there's like no way that I'm going to, you know, clean for you or cook for you, and this is like what happened. So this is resulting in the Empress also reversed. Like it looks like there is like a couple, there is no longer a couple, and or that might happen very soon. There is like a consideration, lots of consideration that has been taken into account, such as children, absolutely children. And also, how is this going to affect the family? You have the Knave of Pentacles reversed and also the Chariot reversed. So now something that kind of like was promising and it was going well, all of a sudden got completely derailed, all of a sudden got harsh, all of a sudden got this kind of like feeling this is never going to work out. It kind of like came as a surprise. It came as a surprise because somehow you felt this is not going to happen. So when it happened, it was like almost like a shock. I'm actually really surprised we didn't get the Tower. But the Chariot reversed is sort of like having also indication that there could be some trouble, especially because we have honeymoon. Maybe some of you really quite the opposite, got married, and all of a sudden you're finding yourself in a situation that you kind of don't like. Maybe it's not a good fit. Maybe all of a sudden there are like combative attitudes as well, and kind of like wondering where did you find yourself. So what is crowding you for giving and learning? And there is like, I think, time. This kind of like talks about, again, just like here, some kind of harshness, kind of like getting arguing and sadness. This can actually also talk about somebody demanding to get answers and the other person not being ready to give them. So this forgiving and learning probably here talks about back and forth, and it was lots of arguing and nothing really accomplished. Everybody has lost this game, kind of like the mouse escaped and nobody kind of like won. Something here kind of like happened and created huge instability and huge sorrow over here. You know, somebody is not really realizing here that not everything is lost. These two cups are still standing, but this person is currently focused on something that is really, really hurting, right? And hurting as a result of, it looks like there is like some kind of unforgiveness that is like really, really heavily weighing on your heart or on somebody's heart. So I don't think this forgiveness is taking place, because I think somebody really needs to hear a spoken word in order to kind of like be able to move forward in this situation. So what is in your imminent future? Religious factors and the 7 of Wands reversed. Now this kind of would relate back to Taurus. Here you have Taurus, here you have Virgo, you know, you have these pentacles as well. So there's lots of your earth energy. But here, just like in here, is talking about, I don't care about what I'm supposed to do anymore, right? I kind of like give up, I'm fed up with everything, and somebody is calling it off. Queen of Swords and 8 of Pentacles. Somebody is just like stepping out from the situation, not really caring about the children, about the morals, about what the family will say. This is it, I'm out of here, kind of a thing. And there's like this overall feeling that certain things that just cannot be produced. Like the Temperance reversed is talking about, the Temperance is talking about right time, right place, right person, right situation. So when this reverses, there is like no patience to kind of resolve and smooth out the issues. There is like just something that is off. Something just cannot happen or is not happening. Like you're trying so much to create this life for you, like, and this is like not so much just about 10 of Pentacles. It's not only about love, but it's about longevity, it is about family, it is about everybody being together. And this probably I think where certain things went off the rails. Maybe you like the person but you don't maybe like their family, or maybe you feel that you're not receiving the love that you think you should be receiving. It's kind of interesting because you had here, you deserve love, and this kind of arch, bow and arrow, and this is also representing the Archer. So I don't know if you're dealing with a Sagittarius, or kind of like it was striving towards some goal and it just like went flat. But I think you're going to still try to kind of like continue and kind of almost like saying, look, let me just give it another try, but only one more, because it's kind of like very important for you. You almost like want to materialize something that maybe can't be materialized, because looks like somebody is walking away, somebody is not really respecting this unity, and it's just saying, I'm just like done and fed up and I'm out of here. This is in your environment. Interestingly enough, you have playfulness and you have the Lovers, and playfulness also was the card that sort of like was jumping out, and it kind of like didn't jump out entirely. The Lovers is talking about a choice, almost like maybe somebody there is to make a choice whether to go forward or not to go forward, interestingly enough. So I think you're dealing with somebody who actually do want, it's kind of Cups, Pentacles, and Air. So you're dealing with a person who actually does say, I want something long term, I want to deal with this, but you kind of like don't feel that you're really their choice. You don't feel it through their actions. You don't feel it through their emotions. You kind of like maybe you're chosen because of what you have. And I think the missing ingredient is playfulness over here, or you feel that you're played with as a part of this playfulness. because like these two cards can also mean that this person is a flirt, right, of some kind, and it's kind of like sending off lots of mixed messages in this kind of process. So over here, Capricorn, we have finances and career, and this is like in your hopes and fears category. So of course, you earth sign, kind of getting grounded, especially in this situation, is very important. But you feel, and maybe this actually could be talking about the breakup and divorce, and how is the couple handling the division of assets, because this is definitely talking about dissolving partnership and relationship, and kind of like I wonder how will I continue from this point on. So there it is, the third party. That's what I said. I sort of like saw here the third party. I see it now, and I see it here. That kind of like would be your religious factors, the Taurus appearing. It's kind of like all the either earth signs that are appearing here, and this is you guys. This is Capricorn, but this is also the Devil card. So if this is not representing you, I'm going to give you like two possibility of interpretation over here. One could be that maybe you got sort of like derailed from your own career, where you're going, like kind of like that bow and arrow, knowing to which kind of things you're going, and certain things just that you invested time and money and emotions are just like not bearing fruits. Maybe you were a horn dog, or you were kind of like investing in somebody who just like didn't want to have anything other than physical, because here is telling me that somebody really wants to solidify, somebody really wants to be in that kind of like ring on the finger, and let's kind of continue. So hopes and fears are hopes that everything will work out, we will marry, we'll be together. Fears, oh my god, like I mean, he or she doesn't love me, this is just like I'm in game, and that's going to cost me. Or if I marry this person, this is not going to be for the right reasons, and this still, in spite of me kind of like feeling there, doesn't feel right, right? Or maybe the person just like doesn't want to say yes, and it's continuing to be kind of playful, and he kind of like, he or she kind of flirts at times, and kind of like makes you feel like you're like the one, and then just like vanishes, and kind of like you're kind of like left completely confused. So there's absolutely what I see, very strong indication for conflicting feelings. So where is this possibility of going? It's kind of interesting again, soulmate, but then it's the Hermit. So I really think you'll be really thinking through. I see a lot of sexuality this month, so you're not going to be in any shortage of that if that's what you want. But I also see that you're going to put under big question mark how you so far perceived, and what did you want to be your soulmate, because the Hermit is always talking about sort of like aloneness, not loneliness, aloneness, kind of like really realizing what is your guiding star over here, where do you really want to go. And plus you have like 1 2 3 4 9, so we are just missing the moon to have the whole opus. So there is a switch. I feel it's a switch in how you feel and how you perceive life. Now this could be somebody old or somebody new showing up. In the end, this could be your soulmate after finding out your own answers, but you might go right back to, oh, I'm attracted to somebody. You have this attraction as a sort of like a flavor of this reading, and you're kind of like really saying, look, you know, I know I have my values, I know what I can offer, I know what I'm bringing to the table, but I also want a romance, I also want this, I also want that. And then you'll maybe meet people who say, okay, yeah, I'm bringing this to the table. I like all this kind of money and luxury and comfort that you can provide me. But then you feel like this person is there because of that, sort of a gold digger sort of a thing, not because of the true emotion. Because you're craving to have that perfect person. The Empress is this perfect romantic kind of like person you can put on a pedestal, but you're kind of left wondering, like kind of like, where do I go from here? and then you might go right back to kind of like sexual interactions and kind of like go into the next level of circles. And I think this is why you got this vigilance, because it kind of like, it looks like you're circling through another phase of where do I go now. This is why this showed up. You deserve love, and you might find somebody. Also, this actually could mean that you will actually find somebody with whom initially the interaction is going to be heavily sexual. Queen of Wands is actually lots of fun to be with, and it's kind of like go, go, go things. You might not have a feeling that she's crazy about you, but you're going to absolutely enjoy the time spent. And if this is you who are actually entering Queen of Wands, then that means you're ready. You're ready to date. You're ready sexually, which to someone, to other people, they're not the same thing. Dating to other people means just, okay, I'm open to actually meet other people, but sexuality means somebody touching you, kind of like really doing it. Now, it could be the people are from the past creeping up or still having a hold on you, and or hold on your partner. And it could be that you're dealing with somebody who is married, and hence the things are sort of like getting tricky at times, right? So let me pull one more card for you, Capricorn, to kind of like seal this reading for this Gemini transition. And again, guys, this is a general reading. This could be you, this doesn't have to be you. So that's what I said, check your ascendant, check your moon sign, but really the best is to get your own private reading. So let me see, Capricorn, for this Gemini transition. Capricorn, and you got Gentle Gardener. Okay, so I think good thing that I didn't remove these fairies, because this is the second time that we are getting this. So let me just find this for you. It is reversed. So this is what it says: be your own person, be a conscious co-creator. Reversed: do you harbor resentments? How often do you reinforce negativity by affirming lack and limitation? Every time you send out a desire for something, but secretly harbor or believe that you are undeserving of it, you plant weeds in the field of your dreams. When the Gentle Gardener appears in the reverse position, she reminds you to be aware of any negative thoughts or selfish motives. She encourages you to step back and pay close attention to what thought seeds you send into the world. Weeds choke the life out of your beautiful garden. No need to fret, however, because once you recognize this, you can always remove a bad seed and replace it with a healthy one. Forgiveness is your most powerful restorative tool. Okay, so we have actually seen it here, so that's probably what it means. Forgiveness was sort of a theme over here, and that really nicely sealed that. It could be that the past experiences left a really bad taste in your mouth, and maybe you feel you just don't want to be subject to that hurt anymore. But this is telling you that you're actually getting opportunity, because look at that earth over here that you got. You're coming back into your element, and you are very strong in your own element, and kind of like reaching that space where it's somewhere in the pit of the stomach to kind of understand who you are, understand what you need, is going to be really, really important. And I think you guys are going to get it. And actually, this is kind of like really amazing travel that I see. The road that you're traveling this month is going from basically the bottom to the top, to being happy, to being free. And this is all based on forgiving. And that's why every religion, and maybe that's why you got religious factors, says forgiving is healing. It's not, and we hesitate to forgive because we feel like this person wronged us or situation was like so bad. The truth is, we don't forgive for the others or to the others. We forgive ourselves, that we found ourselves in that situation and that we know we can actually move forward. It's kind of like, do I bet on me or do I bet on the other person? And it's always good to bet on you. And I think you are betting on you, you're placing a big bet on you, and you're succeeding this month, Capricorn. So thank you very much for listening. I really hope you're going to give me thumbs up if you stayed this long with me. And I also hope to see you on my Instagram and on my Facebook for daily tarot. And until the next time, see my website www.cattarot.ca for how to book your private reading. Love you. All the best.